I think a draw at home is somewhat disappointing, but there's certainly positives to be taken from it. Again, good moments. I thought we started the game really well, created a number of good chances, apparently scored a goal. Disappointing when you score a goal and it's not allowed. Again, I wasn't standing on the end line, so maybe I shouldn't say that definitively, but it sure looked that way. And then I thought after a couple of the controversial calls, a couple of goals being called back, I thought that we took our foot off the gas a little bit, absorbed some pressure for a while, and then in the second half was kind of back and forth. We had a couple chances, but we made mistakes that led to chances for them as well. Overall, quite a few positives to take out of the day, but still a bit of a disappointment to not win at home.
Robin, as you mentioned, maybe unlucky to not see one on the scoreboard hold. Just overall, I guess, what were your thoughts on the attacking guys tonight? A lot of it looked
on the attacking guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I thought we started off really positively. Guys in the back played some really good balls. We got behind them. We were threatening. Certainly felt like we were going to score. And then, throughout the rest of the game, there were really, really good moments, but we get into good spots, and maybe execution wasn't quite as good as it needed to be. But overall, definitely as positive as I can feel about a 0-0 draw at home.
Robin, we've had a number of games in the last year where we talked about Will's performance vis-a-vis the goal difference or the goals conceded, and that not being a reflection of his performance. Your thoughts on his performance tonight, given that contrast last week?
I hate when the goalkeeper is a feature of the night. That means we've given up too many chances. Having said that, he was fantastic. He made a number of incredible saves, looked as sharp as could possibly be, and we were really lucky to have Will tonight, because for as well as we played, we gave up enough chances that we could have lost as well.
So even though with the clean sheet, you did concede 4 goals last week. Do you feel like the back four played better this week? Are there areas you feel like they can still improve, or what positive can you have going forward with that back four?
Yeah, thinking about the chances we gave up tonight, I don't know if it was really so much a back four. Turning over the ball in bad spots, putting ourselves in numbers down situations, and so I don't feel like it's a comparison of last week's back four versus this week's back four. I thought we made a few mistakes last week, for sure, that led to goals. And tonight we made a few mistakes higher up the field that led to very, very dangerous chances. But I think week to week, we've been together now for 8 weeks, I think. And week to week we certainly get better and more cohesive, and guys understand their roles more. So I thought in a lot of ways the back four was decent tonight. And like I said, I think our majority of our problems in the second half came from turning the ball over in places that we shouldn't. I'll have to go back and look at that, but that's my initial thought.
And just building off that, the last couple of years we've seen at times where turnovers and just some possession and things have gotten you guys kind of in trouble. In the first half, Connor has that moment where he dips his shoulder and he beats the press, and that sets up that opportunity for you going forward. Just how important is that to have a player like Connor who can do that? Not necessarily saying you haven't had that, but just have somebody who's comfortable doing that and really beating somebody deep in the press.
It's really important that collectively we get into the positions we need to deal with pressure and deal with the press. And then it's really important that the guys who are the recipients, actually it's both, it's the guys who are making the passes out of the press, the guys who are receiving in and amongst the press or behind the press, that they make the right decisions as well. And Connor has certainly been good for us. He's been instrumental in our build-out in these 2 games. And I know with a loss and a tie, it feels like Colorado's an afterthought. But I see a lot of things in the team that I like, and a lot of things that I think are positive. And certainly one of them has been Connor's ability to start our attacks.
And you mentioned last week you wanted to kind of earn the respect and earn that responsibility from his teammates. How much do you think his mentality of handling the mental side of being that guy receiving the passes is important to what he's doing on the field.
I think that's who he is. I think he's a confident player, and he reads situations well in determining where he needs to be to help us get out. And then when he's on the ball, he's made excellent decisions the majority of the time in whether to go back or forward or to wiggle a little bit to then find an opportunity to get out of those spaces. I think he's done really well, and I would think he's earned his teammates' respect.
Robin, can you speak a little bit on Darren ONeill's performance tonight, and the hunger that you see from him to score goals after getting so many close chances and opportunities maybe taken away?
Yeah, Darren is coming along. I've been saying this everywhere for the last probably 2 months, that his last year has been really good. But I think even in his last 2 or 3 weeks, he's continuing to improve, and he's more comfortable. And like I said, at the beginning of the Seattle game, he looked a little tentative and nervous. And by the end of the Seattle game, I thought he looked like he was just enjoying playing. And tonight I felt like was more of the same. And he was better tonight with his back to goal than he was last week. Held balls up well and is showing real confidence in tight spaces, which is probably the hardest thing to do as a young player. So he's shown real confidence. Again, putting himself in great positions to score goals. Again, kind of unfortunate about the one tonight, but his confidence is growing. And as he has grown over this 12-month period I keep talking about physically, his confidence, his understanding, all of that is also growing, and I feel like he's doing really, really well. I know he wants to score a goal. I'm sure we'd love him to score a goal too.
Galvan coming back, being able to play in front of the home crowd for the first time since 21 playoffs. What do you see from him? How to feel to get him back on the field in front of the fans?
Brian's dangerous. He's dangerous. He came into the game and he's a player who, if we think back to 21, he's a player that we saw beat people on the sideline frequently, and we get good things out of it. And today, he showed a different side of himself, which is just based on the time and the pressure and the lack of time that he had. Then we saw him wiggle out and hit really good final passes. So Brian is a multifaceted attacking player who can help in a lot of different ways, whether it's on the dribble to beat players, crossing right-footed, left-footed, shooting, and then I think one of his really special qualities is his ability to find passes between lines and get the attack going or keep the attack going. And after being out for a long time, I thought he went in tonight and he did really well. And almost every time he got the ball, the situation was slightly different, meaning the kind of pressure he's got, the kind of time he had, the options that he had. And I don't believe he made a poor decision in his time on tonight.
You guys started off really hot in the first 15 minutes. What was leading to that hot start for you guys?
Just a good mentality. We started with a good mentality. It was, we want to be aggressive. We want to get behind him. We want to threaten him. We want to do things that the crowd is going to get energy from and therefore give us energy from. And I thought the timing and the movement of the front guys, the delivery of service from the back guys was really, really good early on, and it immediately put us on the front foot and set up the two opportunities that we had. Well, several opportunities, but set up the two what we thought were goals.
Can you talk a little bit about the confidence behind, Ralph Priso now playing 2 games in a row, stepping up for an injured Jack in the back, in the midfield there? Just a little bit, it's a little competitive in that midfield this year.
It's really competitive, and I think that Ralph had a good last 3, probably 4 weeks of preseason. Started to do really well and won the spot based on what we were looking for out of the spot. And tonight we made a change at halftime to bring Max in for him. It was just really more of an attacking change. It was a more of a positional thing. And I said to Ralph, you're playing well. Don't feel like you're not. This is just about getting another more attack-minded player on the field. But I think he's when he came in last year, it was different for him. He'd probably, I'm not sure about this, but I think he maybe was living at home in Toronto, and now he finds himself 1,500 miles away, different scenario, probably not playing as much as he wanted. It was tough. It's tough for a young player. But I thought he really stepped up in preseason. And like I said, his last 4 weeks, he's been really good and earned the 2 starts for sure. So, as you said, it's really competitive. The midfield is really competitive. And guys are going to have to be sharp. And if they're not sharp, somebody else is going to play. And that's really a best-case scenario for us, is that they feel that sort of pressure looking over their shoulders, knowing that they have to play well. It just makes everyone better.
Robin, your team kind of seemed to shed the result from Sunday, no hangover, no residual effects in the first 15 minutes to this game. Does that tell you anything about the mentality, the makeup, and if so, what is it?
The majority of this team has been around for a while. They've been through kind of the ups and downs, and mostly the ups over the last few years. So for us to start the way we did against Seattle was deeply disappointing for certainly the guys who've been here, and without a doubt the guys who are new, that's not the way they wanted to start either. So you come off a result like that and everyone's got something to prove. And I felt like tonight, the way we started, I feel like that's us. That's who we can be. That's who we should be. And, even in Seattle, we didn't play terribly. We made a few mistakes. We created a number of chances. We had some good opportunities there as well. But we made some mistakes. And it's tough to come back from the disappointment of a result like that. Not a game like that, but of a result like that. So I thought they trained really well throughout the week and then came out tonight with a real winning mentality. And I believe there is a level of confidence that playing here that we feel like we can beat anyone on any day. And I think that mentality was evident in the first 15, 20 minutes.
Cole talked about missing Rubio, which I'm sure everyone else does as well. And he talked about needing to execute more in attacking third. Even though there haven't been goals scored, there's been a lot of opportunities. Does it give hope, knowing that you're missing such a big piece and he's going to be coming back, that it could just kickstart and the goals start coming?
Yeah, obviously we don't want to wait for Diego, but we know that when Diego plays, we do some things differently. And Diego does some things differently than really the rest of our attackers. We have guys who have different strengths. And Diego is one who, he's kind of the glue in our attack. And his decision-making and his execution has been absolutely excellent for the last year, and even prior to that. But it's the kind of thing that, yes, we know he's coming, and it won't be too long, but we can't sit around and wait. And guys know their jobs and their responsibilities and the spots they need to be in. And, Cole is right to some extent that we have to execute a little bit better, because we did get in some decent opportunities tonight and some decent spots. And we do have to execute better. And that's not just the front guys, it's everyone. It's on all of us to continue to get better at our execution. But we certainly do believe that missing Diego is missing a big piece for us. He's an extremely, extremely important part of our attack, because he's so dangerous in so many different ways, whether he's hitting final passes, whether he's scoring, whether he's shooting, whether he's heading, whether he's crossing. He certainly over the last 12 months has been the catalyst of our attack. And a lot of what we do well in the attacking end of the field involves Diego. So certainly we look forward to having him back.
So Andreas mentioned earlier, coming to Colorado, wanting to continue developing his talents here. Just wanted to go ahead and know specifically your thoughts on how the new guys are settling, specifically Kevin.
So you asked me a question about Andreas, but it's a question about Kevin.
Well, he mentioned just coming in, wanting to develop themselves. And I just want to know how you feel about how the new guys are developing themselves.
I think the new guys are doing well. I think Andreas and Alex in particular have had less time. So they've been here a shorter time. Kevin was here earlier. And I think it's still, everyone is, the new guys are still trying to figure exactly how they fit, and what their roles are, and what they need to do in this situation, that situation, that situation. I think those things come with time. But I've really seen, you asked me about Kevin in particular, there's been a spark in him over the last probably 3 weeks that feels like he's getting comfortable and understanding what's being asked of him. Tonight he had to play a couple different positions, but in general I think understanding what we're looking for as a team, and he's been more and more dangerous in training, so we feel like he's assimilating well, and all the other guys I think are also coming along really well. Alex, Max, I'm forgetting one. Oh, Connor. Connor obviously is playing really well, and we look forward to having Marco come in and start continuing the competition for goalkeepers. So we're really pleased with all the new guys, and I think based on certain different factors, some assimilate quicker than others. Connor kind of got thrown into the fire and immediately showed this ability to help us start attacks, so that kind of cemented his position in there. And I think everyone has just been trying to get up to speed as quickly as possible in terms of what's being asked of them.
Robin, the crowd really got behind you guys there in the first half with both goals, even the second case chanting, "We want bar." Just how good was it to be out and, coaching in front of
It's great.
the fans again?
Yeah, it's great. I love coaching here. I love the reaction of the fans, and I played here a lot. I played here for the Foxes. I played here for the Rapids, and it's always felt like the perception around the league is that Colorado's small team, small stadium, not huge crowds, that sort of thing. I love our crowds. I think our crowds are so supportive of us, and the second we give them anything to get excited about, they get excited and they let us know. And it's great. I think it gives us a lift. It really gives us a lift. And you talk about that 20-minute period, 20-minute period to start the game off. They were so into it that they just kept our energy going. In fact, I would say the things that sapped our energy a bit might have had to do with long VAR, injuries, certain breaks in play. But when we are, that's what I said to the team tonight, when we are playing and playing well, that our crowd just gives us a lift. And so I love being back here. We feel like we should never lose here, and part of the reason we feel like we should never lose because our crowd gives us that energy.
Last week you guys had a couple goals where the ball bounced in the box. Tonight you saw players finishing tackles, finishing crosses. Andreas mentioned that was kind of fun this week. How nice was the urgency in your own box kind of return from some of your defenders tonight?
That's an absolutely fantastic question, because one of the things we talked about before the game is winning our duels in both boxes, being aggressive in the attacking end and taking half chances and turning them into really good chances or goals, and then defending in our box and defending with real bravery and really making sure that we don't give people time. And the amount of shots that were blocked tonight, crosses that were dealt with, it's very encouraging. We did spend a good amount of time on video and in training, emphasizing dealing with crosses, dealing with things inside our own box. And I agree with you. I think the mentality was we looked I'm trying to think of what the right word is. We looked determined. We looked very, very determined. Anytime they came around our box, I felt like our guys responded really well. I mean, Shallow has been a very dangerous player against us, and he had a number of shots blocked tonight, just guys not quitting on it and guys making sure that they get a piece of something. I was really, really proud of the defending effort in our box, considering some of the mistakes last week.
Seemed like Lawless had a really nice bounce back game. Did you see anything in particular difference from last week to this week, or anything about?
Did I say or see?
See, sorry.
Yeah. Lawless is the type of guy that if he doesn't play well, or if he doesn't play as well as he wants to, he's out at training early, he's out at training late. He wants to work on this, he wants to work on that. He's constantly pushing himself, and if he feels like he's not playing well, then he wants to do more and more and more. We're like, no, you need to rest, you need to get off the field. But that's who Lawless is, right? He is in soccer terms, I feel like you have to say in soccer terms because this can be so misconstrued. He's a warrior, right? I know there are wars in the world, and those are really, really serious things, and this is just entertainment. But in terms of sports and athletics, he's a warrior. He plays, he gives you every single thing every single day. And if he makes mistakes, or if he doesn't feel like he's playing well, or if he feels like he's let the team down, most importantly, then you can't drag him off the field. Because he won't stop training until he feels like he's done enough work to be better and not let his team down again. So the fact that he was solid tonight doesn't surprise me. It would be what I would expect and what I saw all week in training. We're literally kicking him off the field.